they used to, kiddo. This place actually used to be crowded with lots of happy people. But one day, an evil, demonic, bloodthirsty, murdering, scary clown took over and all the happy people never came back.
Allie began to play with Jack's hair. You're no scary clown, Jack. You're my friend. Jack sighed. Scary seemed to be the only word she understood out of that entire sentence.
How the hell can I make her see that I'm evil?
Jack thought to himself, but another part of Jack was at war with him. He knew he liked Allie, but friendly wasn't in his nature anymore. Jack just chose to ignore his feelings and continued walking. When they reached a nearby hill with a big circus tent at the top, Jack began to climb it.
Hold on tight, kiddo. Here we go.
As he climbed, Allie started to sing. Jack and Jill went up the hill to patch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Jack was intrigued by the song. Listening to the melody of Pop Goes the Weasel made him fail to realize that there were other songs out there, and he really enjoyed this one.
Hey, I like your song, Allie. Where did you learn it?
From school. I sing it because it has your name in it, and since the clown girl looks a lot like you, I'll name her Jill.
Sounds great, kiddo.
While the two of them sang the Jack and Jill song, Jack decided to switch the lyrics up.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to patch a pail of water. Jack pushed Jill down, Jill split open her crown. Now Jack is filled with laughter. Ah, 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 ah.
Thinking it was just a song, Allie sang along with him. Her innocence and naive behavior was starting to get to Jack.
Such a sweet and lovely little girl. Such a shame that I'll have to corrupt her mind.
When they reached the top of the hill, Jack put Allie down and the hyperactive little girl ran into the tent. Inside there was a big stadium with empty benches, stale popcorn littered the floor, and squeaking of rats could be heard.
What do you think, kiddo?
Jack asked. By the look on her face, he could tell that she was unsure about what to say. It's, kind of dirty. Like Uncle Grady's attic. Jack chuckled. I know it is.
But this is my home, sweet home, and you and Jill there are my special guests. Now, how about the three of us watch a movie?
Allie nodded excitedly. She had never heard of a movie being played in a circus before, but chose not to ask questions and watch whatever Jack put on. After Jack used his magic to set up a big projection screen, and a movie began to play. The first movie Jack put on was a group of clowns that came to Earth in a big spaceship and would wrap human victims in cotton candy cocoons. Once that one was done, he put on a movie that involved a bat fighting crime and a crazy clown with green hair and facial scars causing problems. As he watched the movies with Allie, he noticed that she would look at the clowns in the movies and then look at Jack. Jack assumed she was comparing them to him. The final movie that Jack put on was his absolute favorite. It was about a clown who haunted a group of kids till they reached adulthood. Most of them died. Jack, are all the clowns supposed to do bad things? Allie asked. Jack put his hand on top of her head and soothed out her hair.
It's in their nature, kiddo, to do bad things. To you, they may seem like bad things, but to us silly clowns, it's a way of life. But I'm curious, why aren't you afraid of us? Please tell dear old Jack.
Allie shrugged. I'm not. One day I want to be a clown too, just like you and Jill. Jack was touched. He certainly wasn't expecting this. Allie wasn't a normal little girl. She was smart and brave. He decided right then and there that he wouldn't let her go. She was his new friend for life. Later on, when the movie was finally finished, Allie was fast asleep, curled up in a little ball, clutching Jill tightly, and her head snuggled comfortably on Jack's lap. Deciding that this wasn't exactly the right place for her to sleep, Jack picked her up and took her back to Grady's house. By now the party had died down, and Jack laid Allie down on the bed and tucked her in.
Sleep well, kiddo. I'll see you in the morning.
With that said, Jack disappeared into a puff of black smoke. The next morning, Allie woke up and went downstairs with Jill At first she wanted to believe that last night was a dream, but Jill was proof that Jack was real. Knowing that filled her with complete happiness. When Allie walked into the living room, she found her Uncle Grady passed out on the couch, beer still in hand, and the smell of it practically made Allie want to gag. As she looked around, she noticed that the floor and the coffee table was littered with empty beer cans. Just as Allie was about to shake her uncle awake, a loud ringing noise startled her. The ringing was coming from Grady's cell phone that was trapped beneath the sofa cushions. Allie quickly reached for it and looked at the caller ID. She recognized it as her father's and answered it.
Hi, Daddy.
Oh, hi, honey. Where's your Uncle Grady?
He's sleeping. I think he drank too many beers, Daddy.
Wait, what? Your uncle's been drinking? Hold on, honey, I'm gonna come pick you up. Allie hung up the phone and went upstairs to get her things ready. When everything was all packed, she decided to go up to the attic and look for Jack.
Jack! Jack, where are you?
She looked in every inch of the attic, but Jack was nowhere to be found.
Maybe he's in the box,
said Jill in Allie's imaginative voice. Allie put Jill down and reached for the music box that was still on the shelf. After the Pop Goes the Weasel song was finished, she thought for sure that Jack would come out of this box. But nothing happened.
Jack?
Not seeing her clown friend made Allie want to cry. Streams of tears. But the sound of footsteps coming from the attic stairs stopped the tears from flowing. Allie! There you are! I was so worried. Allie quickly ran into her father's arms and held onto him as he carried her. While they walked downstairs, Grady came into the room hungover and with his head in his hand.
Ugh.
Oh, hey, man. When did you get here? He asked in a slurred voice. Thanks for keeping such a good eye on her, Grady. Getting drunk around a 6-year-old is really smart. Enjoy the rest of your drunken state, you dumbass, said Allie's dad before he pushed Grady down hard. Once he hit the floor, he was knocked out again. Once Allie was in the back seat of her family's car, she looked back at the house with a heavy heart. She waved goodbye to the memories that she thought she was leaving behind. Little did she know that her memories wouldn't stay memories for long. When they finally got to the hospital, Allie was more than excited when she ran into her mother's room. Mommy! She smiled and climbed up to her mother's hospital bed, where the two embraced in a big bear hug. My big girl, I missed you so much. Were you a good girl for your Uncle Grady? Since her mother had just been through pains of labor, and her father seemed stressed enough by the current situation, Allie decided not to tell her mom about Grady's drinking or the time she spent with Jack. She just wouldn't believe her.
I was a really good girl, Mommy. Where's the baby?
He's in the nursery, Princess. You have a newborn baby brother. Allie was relieved to hear it was a boy. She wasn't sure how she would take it if another little girl came into the picture.
Yay, a baby boy! Daddy, can we go see him?
You can go, sweetie. It's just down the hallway. I need you to stay here and take care of Mom. I need to stay here and take care of Mommy. Just look in the nursery window and you will find him. But don't go anywhere else and don't talk to strangers. Allie nodded and ran towards the door, but stopped when she realized she had forgotten something.
How will I know which one is my brother? I don't even know his name.
Allie's parents laughed at her cuteness. His name is Jack, honey. Just look for the baby that says Jack Day, said her mother. Allie grinned from ear to ear. To her, there was no other name her parents could have picked for the baby. She quickly ran down the hall till she reached the nursery window. Allie sighed in awe. She saw all of the newborn babies wrapped up in blue and pink blankets. Most of them were sleeping. Only one little baby boy, who was at the very end of the window, was wide awake. This baby was in fact Allie's newborn baby brother.
Hi, baby Jack,
said Allie, calling out to him. Jack's little brown eyes were now fixated on his big sister. Allie kept waving and tried her hardest to make him smile. But baby Jack just kept staring at her and now and then yawning. Allie figured he must be tired like all the other babies, so she decided to sing to him. She started humming the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel, and Jack's little eyes closed, and she sang the final verse to him. Pop goes the weasel. She was so busy singing that she didn't notice someone approaching her. What a sweet way to bond with the new baby, kiddo. Allie looked away from the window and smiled when she saw who it was. Jack! I'm so happy to see you. I thought you were gone. Jack picked her up and held her. I told you, kiddo. I promised I would be here to see the baby with you. I'm happy to hear your parents gave him my name. Do you think baby Jack will grow up to be a clown like you? Jack smiled down at her with an evil look in his eyes.
I wouldn't worry about that. But how would you like to be a clown now? Instead of when you grow up, he asked.
Allie shrugged. What if Mommy and Daddy don't like it? Jack put Allie back down and said in a serious voice,
Who gives a damn what they think?
Allie shook with fear at this outburst.
Look, Allie, they may call you their big girl, but in all reality, you're just a little girl who thinks you still need her mommy and daddy. But you don't. You could live a better life as a clown just like me. And Jill,
he said as he held Allie's clown doll in front of her. Until now, she hadn't realized that she had forgotten her. Okay, Jack. I'll give it a try. But how do I start?
Close your eyes and hold out your hands.
Allie did as she was told and felt a small circular item in her hand. When she opened them, she looked down at it. It was a purple hard candy, one that her mom's never let her eat. What's the candy for? She asked in a confused voice. Jack chuckled.
It's a special candy, kiddo. It'll make you feel very happy.
Allie smiled, thinking that Jack was telling the truth. She unwrapped the candy and quickly put it in her mouth. The sweet yet sour taste of grape tingled her tongue. But as she ate it, she noticed that the candy started to melt purple liquid, and it was soon filling up her mouth. She tried to spit the candy out, but couldn't. She fell to the floor and desperately tried to gasp for air as purple liquid overflowed her mouth. Jack knelt down next to her, still laughing evilly.
Sorry about that, Allie. I know how much you little brats love your candy, but I forgot to mention that this special candy causes more than happiness. It causes your body to fully transform.
With that said, Jack took his sharp claws and cut a large opening in Allie's stomach. Allie tried so desperately to scream, but couldn't choke out a sound. Tears started to stream from her eyes, and blood oozed from the gushing in her stomach.
Aw, don't cry, princess. I'm about to put you out of your misery.
Jack took the Jill doll in his hand and said,
This'll help speed things up a bit.
Jack jammed the doll into Allie's stomach and quickly sewed up the gash. Jack watched as Allie transformed as it began to happen. Her arms and legs started to stretch beyond its length. Her skin turned a pale color. The curves of her body started to form one by one. Her brown short hair was now a black and wavy mess. Her lips were now painted black, and she was now wearing a short black dress with white ruffles. When the transformation was finally done, Jack helped her up and smirked at the satisfaction. She was no longer the little 6-year-old Allie he met. She was now a young lady. Jack watched as Allie looked at herself in the nursery window, admiring her reflection.
You look amazing, kiddo. You're now my little Allie clown.
For a while, things were quiet, but Allie broke into the silence by letting out a fit of laughter.
I'm not Allie anymore, Jackie boy. I'm Laughing Jill, and I've never felt better.
After getting over the shock of what she had just said, Jack laughed right along with her. He knew there was no turning back for her. Many news reports had been shown about the little 6-year-old girl, Allie Day, and her younger brother Jack were found missing. Most believed were kidnapped. It was also reported that the parents, Mr. and Mrs. Day, were found murdered in a hospital room, both with their eyes missing from their sockets.